Gohan has finally recognized his full potential and ascended beyond both his father and Vegeta, it seems like, but this new mystic rage form of his doesn't come without its own flaws. When we last left off in Dragon Ball Rage, an original fan manga by Jarius Smith, Gohan had faced off against his father Goku after all the training he had done, not only with Whis, but against Hakaishin Cell as well, who had been resurrected by the gods and given the single mission to eliminate Videl in order to push Gohan to new heights. This would ironically work much better than expected, as Cell, after being given some of Beerus' power, would go on to not only eliminate Videl, but this monster would eliminate Pan as well in such a savage manner right in front of Gohan's face. This would send Gohan's rage into absolute orbit as he ascended far beyond what his usual potential would presumably cap out at, and achieved a never before seen form that in due time was in fact enough to overpower Cell. Once this menace was destroyed for, what is this, the third or fourth time now, and the battle was officially over, Whis would present the Dragon Balls in order to wish back both Pan and Videl, but this doesn't erase the fact that this was their plan to begin with, and a simple apology wouldn't be quite enough for Gohan. However, Gohan and the others knew that even though this was an unforgivable scheme, it's in their best interest to not press the issue too much with the gods, especially since they're rectifying the matter immediately. Gohan would instead use this as motivation to get stronger himself and keep ascending so something like this could never happen again. He would travel to the God Realm and begin training with Whis, and in only a few months' time, was ready for his final test against his own father to see just how far he'd come and where this new power of his stands. That's right, Enraged Mystic Gohan versus Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken Goku would be a match worthy of entertaining the gods, and Gohan and Goku didn't disappoint at all. Through each stage of Goku's transformations, Gohan showed improvement each time and showed that he's well on his way to achieving power that does in fact rival his father and Vegeta's, after the battle concluded with him having to save himself from his own attack in a dramatic fashion. Gohan is indeed ready to protect the Earth if necessary with his own power, and that time may come sooner than they realize, because deep in the cosmos, Cooler and Frieza for some reason rendezvoused, and their plan looks to involve the Saiyans yet again. We'll be landing shortly, Lord Frieza, the pilot affirms. Cooler cuts in by telling him that this planet should suffice and testing his current strength enough. You speak as if you yourself require no training at all, Frieza tells him. You don't know these Saiyan monkeys like I do. As much as I hate them, they won't be easily defeated. Though we both despise the Saiyans, it seems I was the only one who took extra measures in case we came across a formidable Saiyan who could have escaped the explosion or just wasn't present at the time. After all, you did eliminate Planet Vegeta out of fear of rebellion against you. It wasn't out of fear, Frieza replies. I just made a calculated decision which I felt was necessary. Sure, Cooler responds. Whatever puts your mind at ease. In any case, you felt you never had to train because you thought you'd rid yourself of all of the Saiyans. That was until Planet Namek, right? Frieza does not find this amusing at all. But the truth is, Cooler continues, I've been training since I was young. You've just recently started to take training seriously, so I know for a fact you're not at my level. You sure do like to run your mouth a lot, Frieza replies. Then he thinks to himself, he may have trained longer than I have, but he's never had any experience fighting against the god of destruction. I have though. Preparing to land, Lord Frieza, the pilot calls out. When the ship finally lands on this faraway, desolate planet and they both step out, Cooler mentions that the terrain and climate on this planet is quite aggressive. It should make things quite interesting, don't you think, he asks? Indeed it should, Frieza responds. But enough talk. I'm intrigued to see just how much stronger you are than me due to your training in earlier years. I say we allow our little training session to commence, he goes on. I couldn't agree more, Cooler replies. Well, whenever you're ready. Frieza tells the pilot to take the ship to a safe location as the area might get a little messy, so they fly far away from the battlefield to preserve the ship. Your move, Cooler tells him. Frieza fires a death beam to start the match off, but Cooler matches it with ease as the two just kinda test each other's powers out at first. Next, they both fire a barrage of death beams at one another in rapid succession, each matching the other. Your reflexes aren't half bad, Frieza compliments him, but Cooler says that he's just waiting for him to get serious. Oh, very well, Frieza tells him. Frieza powers up next, and then the match seems to take off to another level as he tells Cooler, "Let's see how powerful you really are then." As Frieza takes off, Cooler readies himself but catches his attack with a single hand. However, it doesn't seem as easy as it looked at first glance. "What's the matter?" Frieza asks him. "Was that too much for you?" "Oh, we're just getting started," Cooler tells him as he forces back the fist. He then kicks Frieza across the face and sends him flying across the battlefield. "That seemed like it hurt," Cooler says, mocking Frieza, who gets back to his feet. My turn. Cooler powers up next as his aura resembles Frieza's. However, both of these guys are still playing around actually. As the two commence with the second round, both charging at one another, their next clash would look almost even, but Cooler seems to have the slight upper hand as he asks Frieza the same question he was asked prior. "Well, as you so eloquently put before," Frieza responds before pulling his fist back and charging a punch to the gut that creases Cooler, "we're only just getting started." Cooler is sent flying into a nearby cliff as Frieza tells him that this little training session of theirs actually wasn't a bad idea. "I'm having a little bit of fun. What about you?" he asks. However, Cooler is still under the debris as Frieza mocks him even more, saying, "How rude of me. I'm over here asking you questions knowing full well you're still buried beneath that pile of rubble." Cooler erupts from the rubble next, saying that was quite a power boost he displayed while still in his present form, giving Frieza a bit of credit. "You've been awake quite a while," Frieza tells him. "You have no idea what I'm capable of." "It appears there might be some truth to that statement," Cooler says, "and I may have underestimated your capabilities. Let's make this a bit more fun, shall we?" Cooler begins to transform himself, the first to take on a new transformation, but he goes into his fifth form, the huge one from the first Cooler movie that was defeated by Super Saiyan Goku. "There, that's much better," he says after raising his power immensely. Frieza still doesn't seem too impressed though, but he does admit that he was under the impression that Cooler was already in his final form. "I don't recall saying that at all," Cooler responds. "Well, no matter," Frieza tells him. "You may have gained a few muscles, but it's still no match for Lord Frieza." When Frieza charges in and tries to land that first punch, however, his fist almost shatters under the durability of Cooler's new form. "What the?" Frieza says, confused. However, Cooler tells him that his arrogance was always most amusing. Cooler then begins easily overpowering Frieza from there on out, as we see him landing blow after blow and even swinging Frieza around by his tail, slamming him around all over the place. "Aw, what's the matter?" Cooler says, mocking him. "You seem to be in some pain." Frieza is sent flying into a cliffside himself this time. "Wow, why does this seem so familiar?" Cooler adds. "Oh, that's right, a few moments ago it was me lying beneath those rocks. Funny how things change." Frieza's anger begins to erupt as he bursts from beneath the rubble and vows to show him the true power of Golden Frieza, as he approaches Cooler with his true final form. "You always make such dramatic entrances," Cooler responds. Frieza then goes on the offensive himself this time, perhaps more so to prove his point than anything, and it seems that Golden Frieza would be quite a bit for 5th form Cooler to handle, as he's pressured with little he can do about it. "Where's all that mockery you had a minute ago?" Frieza asks. "I see," Cooler says when they finally separate. "So this is the extent of your golden form." "I know, it's overwhelming for you and you thought you were above me," Frieza responds. "This whole thing was your idea, not that I'm not having a bit of fun in the process, but seems like it might be time to wrap this little session of ours up." "Come then," Cooler says, provoking him. Frieza powers up even more and prepares a powerful finisher in his hand from above, but Cooler just chuckles. "What's so funny?" Frieza demands. "You really thought you were the only one to ascend past your final form?" Cooler responds. This is when Cooler's power begins to change and he undergoes another transformation. This time, one Frieza may find a bit more impressive. "You see," Cooler goes on, "I too have reached a new plateau. But instead of your golden form, I chose to go a slightly different route instead." When Cooler's transformation concludes, the piercing gleam reflecting off of his body almost blinds Frieza. "Behold," Cooler says, "allow me to introduce you to Platinum Cooler." "Platinum?" Frieza responds lightheartedly, and here I thought gold was too much. "I can almost see my reflection when I look at you," he tells him. "Be that as it may," Cooler goes on, "I personally enjoy this look. And I honestly do too, it brings back like some of the old Meta Cooler vibes." And now that we're both finally at our peaks, Cooler continues, how about we let the conclusion of our training commence? I actually couldn't agree more, Frieza replies, as Platinum Cooler versus Golden Frieza, the battle between the brothers is about to take place.